Hey everyone, Merry Christmas. It's my favorite time of the year, October, November, December. Just a reminder, this channel covers all things real estate, finance, entrepreneurship, and a little health and fitness sprinkled on top. You know, your most important asset is your kids, your children. It's not about stocks, real estate, all this greed and craziness in the world. So this holiday season, give your children a hug. Stay close to your family. It's more important now than ever. So let's get into this madness. Is TikTok melting kids' minds and creating a dangerous environment for kids in America? We are allowing the most downloaded app in the United States, the most used social media app, to be one controlled by that of a foreign adversary, the CCP. What does that stand for, ladies and gentlemen? Chinese Communist Party controls this app, which, by the way, does not allow U.S. media social companies to operate in China. And the reason they say is under the belief that doing so would allow us, the United States, to shape their population towards democratic norms and corrupt their society. Oh, but we're going to allow them to try to corrupt our society with this communism, socialism. On the face of it, it's ridiculous. The Trump and Biden administration have not done what needs to be done. Ban this app in the United States. Currently, a bipartisan bill is on the table that would ban TikTok nationwide. So a bipartisan bill, both Democrats and Republicans have come together, is moving forward with some steam. The bill would block any transactions from any social media company under the influence of China or Russia. That's great news. So at least both sides are coming together on this. They see the danger of this. We have our number one adversary controlling this app. Make no mistake about it. China is our number one adversary and destroying our children. At this moment, the Biden administration is getting ready to completely fold to TikTok, however, but Biden is getting pressure from Democrats and Republicans. And all those kickbacks and payouts from China might win out in the end. Check out this stat. The share of 12-year-olds in the United States who have their own smartphones. Number one, 41% in 2015. Number two, 71% in 2021. That's insane. Yes, Americans 25 and under love this app like crack cocaine, fentanyl, with fentanyl sprinkled on top. So 2/3 of them are all in. 2/3 of teenagers. Teenagers are not aware of the way they are being targeted. So many young Americans are now getting their news from TikTok, which is disturbing, which is controlled by the CCP. They have news feeds on there, ladies and gentlemen. So the Chinese Communist Party is determining what news. You're not with your kids all the time. Your children get, ladies and gentlemen, what propaganda they consume. TikTok has the potential to become the most powerful media company in America. So what is going on when you pull back the curtain to this? Just some highlights. Number one is censorship of news. They're determining the news your kids see and shaping their minds. Number two, they can track your location, track your keystrokes. They can track what websites you go to even when you're not on the app. They can listen to you as well. They get access to your contacts and everything else. The sexualization of your children, ladies and gentlemen. It's very disturbing. Also, what I was unaware of because I'm not on this app is the dangerous TikTok challenges that are killing kids right now. This is horrible. The reason the FCC commissioner called TikTok digital fentanyl, I like that, because it is highly addictive and destructive and traced back to China. This is the fundamental issue. The greatest existential threat to the United States of America is China, not Russia. Russia has the economy the size of Texas and an inferior army. When you have a company at the whim of the CCP, that is the main issue, ladies and gentlemen. Government employees will be banned from using this app to start, they're saying in this bill. There is a lack of transparency surrounding the algorithm. TikTok is owned by ByteDance, and ByteDance is controlled by the Chinese Communist Party. Enough said. Take this app off your kid's phone. This app should be banned in the USA, period. So I think let's delve into a little history of this real quick. You know, the company owned by Beijing-based ByteDance has been accused by regulators and politicians around the world of being a surveillance tool for the Chinese government and was facing possible banning in the US. But guess what? Kickbacks from the Chinese government, and it's still not banned. It is 100% fact. That's what they're doing. It's a surveillance tool, and it's still under review. It's a surveillance tool that should be banned, period. Period. So a company in the CCP, they spent about $800 million to merge TikTok with lip-syncing app Musical LY in 2018. It got more than just 200 million new users, ladies and gentlemen. It also inherited an investigation by the U.S. Federal Trade Commission into Musical LY's practice of letting young kids on its app, Musical LY, for years they did, and they floated U.S. law, welcoming those under the age of 13 who were locked out of competing platforms, and at the same time violating the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, which seeks to shield preteens from being targeted by advertisers and these things. So even Musical LY CEO acknowledged that many of the app's top users were underage. U.S. law bars social media companies from collecting data on children younger than the age of 13. They shouldn't be collecting any data. You know, TikTok says in its own rules that they adhere to the guidelines. They said that the CEO said that the kids have their parents' consent. He said Musical LY asked for birth dates, which they do to give him his due, and kids would just lie. You know, you put in your birth date, kids can just lie, and they have their parents' consent. But don't worry, your kids are safe. This was interesting when I researched this. A global army of about 40,000 moderators, the CEO said, is responsible for reviewing videos at TikTok, 3/4 of whom work on contract while they have their food and play video games. Each looks at about 1,000 videos a day, taking around 20 seconds to review each one, according to former employees. They say the system isn't geared towards finding underage users. Posts are filtered to moderators by artificial intelligence software, then scans every video uploaded 10 billion in the first quarter of this year alone, and automatically removes anything that would violate a community guidelines such as nudity, violence. If the software is unsure, it then sends the material to a human to assess. So every video that has more than roughly 3,000 views, and the number of views, varies across countries, is sent to a moderator, ensuring that the most popular content gets a human review, as they're having their shot of Jack Daniels. Many, unfortunately, folks have slipped through the system. Being controlled by the CCP is not the only issue. TikTok's algorithm is turning deadly. Children keep dying from the blackout challenge, for example. And when I researched this, I'm not on TikTok, so I found this astonishing. Why isn't the world's most popular app doing more to protect children from this madness? They don't care, folks. We got too much population. Humans are a burden to the environment. We don't want people having kids. Who cares about the kids? Who cares? Stop having kids. Kids as young as 8, ladies and gentlemen, young as 8, have died attempting these online challenges. It is absolutely tragic. The blackout challenge has been linked to the deaths of at least 15 kids aged 12 or younger in the past 18 months alone. A global survey conducted found that 2% said they've participated in challenges they deem risky and very dangerous. 2%. So despite some of the safety measures TikTok has taken, and they've taken some measures, the deaths keep happening. Last December, a 10-year-old Naya Anderson hanged herself with a strap of a handbag at home in a suburb of Philadelphia. They were playing the asphyxiation game. Terrible. Unbelievable. So the Supreme Court may have something to say about this matter. In October, it agreed to hear an unrelated case about the scope of Section 230, and this is huge. the immunity provision that these social money companies have. You can't sue them. Its decision could allow, the blackout challenge lawsuits to proceed or tip them out. So that would be good news. But the CCP, ladies and gentlemen, plays hardball more than we do. And we have greedy people in this country that have sold it out. And a consequence of this is children are dying and they're being brainwashed by the Chinese Communist Party. Chinese Communist Party wants to be the most powerful country in the world. And their art of war, they're very patient, unlike Americans. And they know Americans obsessed with social media more than they are. They're working behind the scenes and everyone is brainwashed with social media, especially TikTok for these young kids. And it's terrible. I can't tell you what to do as a parent. I think you should take the app off your kids' phones. I go to Starbucks and I see kids, especially when I go back to the Midwest and travel, and I hear conversations and they're watching these TikTok things. I think it's terrible. Your kids are being brainwashed. Then on top of that, kids can be very cruel, as we know. And all the pressures kids have and all the suicides that went up of young boys and girls, especially during COVID, because they couldn't have the interactions at school and were stuck at Zoom meetings, and those Twitter videos of kids crying because they want to be back in class and wearing face masks and all these things because you can't see people's faces and have those interactions and those facial expressions. So on top of that, you add social media and the pressures kids have, and they see Photoshop, things of pictures. I'm going to Instagram now and fake bodies and these poor young girls and boys and these fake images and they think that looks real and they kill themselves because they'll never in their minds be able to look like that and they feel inferior. It's terrible. And TikTok is adding to this. And it's very scary. The CCP is very cunning and what they're doing. And your kids are getting news, propaganda from the Chinese Communist Party, the sexualization stuff, all this craziness. I think you really need to look at this and get involved and call your local senators and politicians. This bill, this bipartisan bill, should get your support. I think it's a good thing. Just looking at this and talking to people, it is very, very concerning, ladies and gentlemen, and for the health of your children. And I think it's important that you look into this. This should be banned in the United States. It's nothing but an espionage tool by our #1 adversary in the world. Have a great week.